Yo, what's up everyone? In this video, we'll be talking about comments. And I'm not talking about the comments that you put in my YouTube videos, no. I'm talking about comments in Python. So, let's dive in. A comment is just an attonation or explanation in the source code. And in Python, you use this sign. It's called the hash sign or the pound sign to write comments. So let us see why should we use comments and the purpose of comments in programming. Allow me to get the code from the previous video so that I can use it as an example. So let me just copy this code here and paste it here, and I'll use this as an example. So the first purpose of a comment is documentation. And documentation is important because it helps other people reading your code to know what you are doing. Also, your future self know what you are doing. Because if you write a program and you come and view the same program some 2 or 3 weeks later, you might not understand what you are doing. That is where comments come in. For example, here I can just put a comment. You say that a comment, you put it using a hash sign and say something like get user input. So I'm using this comment to document what I'm doing in the program. Then I can say here something like print or display input. Display user input. And these comments don't affect your code. The interpreter will completely ignore the comments in your code. So the comments will just be ignored and your code will just work as it was working before. For example, this code is from last video. If you just run it, it will ask for my age. And once I enter my age, to display the age. So you can see the comment will not affect the functionality of the code. For example, if I run it and just enter my age, let's say 15, it will just say your age is 15, and it did not affect the functionality of the code. So that is the first function of using comments, to document your code so that other people reading your code can know what you are writing, or even your future self. You can come and read your code and know what you are doing in that code. The other purpose of code is to disable part of code that you do not need. Like in this program, we don't need to print the type of the variable age because it's not relevant. We are printing it for learning purposes. But since now we know, we can just comment this line of code to disable it. So now when we run our code, this line will be ignored completely. So that is the second function of comments. You just ignore some part of code that you don't want it to be run by your interpreter. So now if I run this code, this line 8 will not be displayed because I have commented it out. So it will just ask me what my age is, and I'll just put in my age. Then it will just tell me your age is that number I put in. Then the code, the program will end there. It will not print the type because you have commented out that part of the code. So those are the main functionalities of comments. And the other thing that you need to know about comments is the type of comments. Like the ones that are using there is called a single line comments. That means that I can only write my comment in this single line. If I write anything else apart from that line, it is not a comment. But there's some cases where you need to write comments multiple lines. For example, if you want to explain like a paragraph to explain what you're doing in that code, if it's a long thing you want to explain, you can just use these single line comments to do a lot of explanation, but it's not good experience. There's these multi-line comments that you can use to make multiple lines of comments. And its syntax is just quotes. You just put 3 quotes. For example, if let's say this was my comment and I wanted it to make use of it, instead of putting this hash symbol before every line, I can just put quotes on top of this. Before I begin my comments, I can just put 3 quotes, 1, 2, 3, like that. Then below it, I also put 1, 2, 3, like that. That will comment this. I think these ones are 4, so I'll just remove some of them. They should be 3, 1, 2, 3. Also this, they should be 1, 2, 3, like that. And this will be multi-line comments. So here I have used double quotes. Also, as we have said earlier, double quotes and single quotes in Python serve the same purpose. So if I put double quotes, it will work fine. Even if I put 3 single quotes, for example, I can replace this double quotes with just 3 single quotes, like that. Maybe I can delete some so that they can be 3. Then also close them with 3 single quotes. Like that. 1, 2, 3, like that. And it will work just fine. And you can see my program will still run and this part of the code will be completely ignored. So that is how you use multi-line comments. You can see if I run the code, it just works fine. And this part does not affect my program because it's commented out. And there's also some best practices of using comments. Depending on your team or how you do it, you can just come up with the rules of how you comment your code. And the thing is just be consistent with one rule. If you choose multi-line comment, just be consistent with it. And I have a tip here that might help you. So if you want to comment, you can just highlight what you want to comment and click on Control / if you're on Windows. If you're on Mac, you can just click on Command and / and your line automatically be commented. But they'll use the single line comment. Even if you do like a paragraph, they'll just use single line comment for each of those. So yeah, that was it for this video. See you in the next video. Peace out.